Hi everyone, my name is Abby from Migration Centre of Australia, and today we're going to talk about the ACT Subclass 190 visa program. Now, the ACT 190 program is not for the faint-hearted. You need to be committed to living in the state, and it's not designed for people that are just trying to shift from state to state, increase their chances, and hope that they get invited. You need a long-term and strategic plan to meet the Canberra Matrix and increase your chances of getting an invitation. In this video, we will cover what the nomination actually is, the 2025 to 2026 financial year structure, the visa requirements from Home Affairs, specific criteria from ACT both for onshore and offshore invitations, explain to you what the Canberra Matrix is, go over the employment rules and what ACT actually checks, the settlement and commitment obligations if you are invited, and who the 190 for the ACT is specifically focused for. So what is ACT? The ACT is the Australian Capital Territory, where Canberra, also the capital of Australia, is located. It's a very small area within the New South Wales state. Now, as part of this, you need to understand that there's a lot of government jobs available in ACT, but a lot of the government jobs in Australia usually require you to either be a permanent resident or sometimes a citizen to actually work on government jobs. But the 190 visa is a direct permanent residency, so it's good. And once you meet the criteria, you can actually transition and apply for Australian citizenship, making you eligible for a lot of these roles that are available in ACT. ACT uses a clear and structured ranking system called the Canberra Matrix. As part of this matrix, you're compared on employment, income, English level, and how long you've lived in Canberra. So if you want to be a strong candidate, you should ensure that you've chosen the right state, either to study and graduate from and continue to reside there to try and increase your chances of an invitation. That's why for the ACT, you require strategic planning and an approach that can increase your chances of an invitation. So let's talk about the second point, ACT migration structure. So let's talk about the ACT program structure for financial year 2025 to 2026. ACT got 1,600 allocations for both the subclass 190 and 491 combined. Now, 800 of these were for the subclass 190 and 800 were for 491. So there was an equal split between the two visa programs. 491 is the regional invitation program, whereas the 190 is the state invitation program, but you can live in any major city as well. But for Canberra, that would be the major city in ACT. The good thing about the ranking system or the matrix system in Canberra is that it's not a pass or a fail. You need to hit a certain amount of point score. You're compared with other people and then they judge on how they should invite people based on you competing with other people for the same occupation. So based on your ranking overall, those are the people that are invited. It could be that your occupation ranking comes lower down, you may not be invited, but it's all based on ranking, not a specific point score. Now the third point, let's talk about some of the basic criteria that you need to meet for the subclass 190 visa. Firstly, you need to be less than 45 years old. You need to have a minimum of competent English. You need to have a positive skills assessment. You must have lodged your expression of interest, and that's when after that you lodge your interest in the Canberra Matrix. And the fourth point that we're going to talk about is the ACT criteria to be eligible to be invited by the state. They evaluate how long you've been residing in the state, how related is the skilled employment that you're doing, your income level and stability. So they do also consider how much you're earning. Then they look at the English strength. So the stronger your English, the better your chances are. And long-term settlement. So how long have you been residing firstly? That's the one thing we said. But what do they deem your intention to be? Are you planning to stay in Canberra for a longer period? And the last and probably the most important point, what is the current demand for your occupation within the state? It's clear that ACT will prioritize people that are already residing and working in their state and have a strong contribution to the local or state economy. So let's talk about the Canberra Matrix. This is the fifth point. This is not the same as skill select points. That's different, that's part of your expression of interest. This is for the ranking system. So this will cover ACT employment length, so how long you've been working in ACT, occupation alignment, salary level, English level, how long you've been, again, residing in ACT, and also partner skills if they're applicable. So if you have a partner, what is their skill level? So let's talk about the Canberra resident pathway, which is point number 6, specifically for the subclass 190 onshore applicants. As part of this, you must live and work in ACT, be employed in a relevant skilled occupation, show ongoing and genuine employment, demonstrate strong settlement intentions within the state. And of course, as we've already covered, they highly favour people that have actually been residing in ACT for a longer period of time, stable employment history, and skilled roles aligned with Canberra's economy. Job hopping, short contracts, or unrelated roles to a skilled occupation can actually reduce your chances and ranking when it comes to the matrix and assessments that they make. And the other pathway is the subclass 190 for offshore applicants. This is very limited and highly competitive. ACT focuses on the occupations that are critical for the state, strong skills and experience, high English and high matrix ranking. The reality is you're more than likely not going to get invited for the subclass 190 from an offshore perspective. It's extremely difficult. More than likely, you have a higher chance of getting a 491 from ACT than you do a 190. So anyone that's promising you that yes, you will get it is lying. The 7th point is employment rules. ACT specifically checks if your employment is skilled and relevant, located in ACT, paid at the market salary rate, so you shouldn't be underpaid, and is genuine within a business operating actively. ACT is smart enough to know when you're trying to fake things. So if you're earning cash and showing that you've been earning cash, that will generally not be accepted. Artificial role titles, so you're trying to fit into another occupation, unrelated employment, or short and unstable employment of any kind. Your employment must show real economic value to ACT. 8th point is commitment obligations to the state if they do decide to nominate you. You should live and work in ACT for a period of 2 years after the visa is granted and notify the ACT of any major changes. This includes any plans to move outside the ACT. So this means the subclass 190 ACT visa program is actually for people that are skilled in relevant occupations, can score well in the matrix, have been a long-term resident to try and get that invitation within ACT. It helps if you're also a graduate of ACT because it means you've been living and residing and potentially working there longer. Make sure you have a nice, stable job with a good income, compete well for the English level, and by following this, you increase your chances of actually getting the invitation. Now, I want you to comment ACT 190 if you're interested in learning more or having your assessment done on how you may be eligible. We'll ask for your documentation and collect all the relevant data before organising a consultation to determine what your chances are of actually getting an invitation from the ACT. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and reach out to us if you need any information on any of the other states.